Well, it's good to see you all here this Lord's Day morning as we gather in the name of our risen Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Welcome in His name as we celebrate His grace and as we rejoice in the promises that He has made to us, both that He communicates through His Word, but then also signifies and seals to us in the promises that He gives to us in the sacraments, which we have the privilege of celebrating with baptism with Brian and Kelly and the family here, Logan, and the privilege that we have once again as a congregation last week, seeing the waters of baptism, and again being able once again this Lord's Day to see those waters as well. In light of today's baptism and celebration thereof, we're going to be having a cake once again and coffee for a time of fellowship, and everyone is certainly invited as we celebrate this momentous occasion in the life of the church and in this congregation. Also be sure to congratulate Brian and Kelly. I'm going to be asking them to come out with me after the service so that you can extend to them the right hand of fellowship and congratulations, wishing them the Lord's blessing. It's good to have visitors here today, especially in light of the baptism, and we trust that the Lord will bless you in this time that we have together, whether you're here for the baptism or for any other reason, that you may know the promises of the Lord and that you might know the comfort that God gives to us through those promises, even as we cling to His Son. I was asked to remind you that there is a local outreach committee at 4 o'clock. But I think, as was advertised on the screen before the service, that also included the Vacation Bible School Committee. We're asking that if the VBS volunteers, not the committee, but all the volunteers are going to be participating, you don't have to be here at 4 o'clock, but if you could be here at 4:45. So that's just for the volunteers for the VBS. The local outreach meeting is still going to be at 4 o'clock. So if you please take note of that. And then one last thing, we have the privilege of welcoming into our life and fellowship as a congregation this morning, Tina Williams. So I'd ask Tina if you would just arise. Most of us know who you are. She's doing it reluctantly, as is the custom for people who are asked to stand. But anyway, we want to welcome you to the life and fellowship of our congregation. It's been a privilege to get to know you a little bit better in the time leading up to this announcement and the different acquaintances that we have. She has already blessed me by giving to me a lot of ammo against my in-laws, and particularly my wife. She comes from Rosewood Reformed. That's where my family grew up. So I have the pictures from 1978, 1981, and 1986 of my wife in those awkward stages of her life and the life of the family. Thank you for that. That's a great treat. And anyway, but seriously, the Lord's richest blessing to you, and we trust that we can be a blessing as well as we grow in the life and the fellowship as a congregation.